Donald Trump holds himself to a different standard where it relates to politicizing a tragedy in order to bring a policy objective into focus. This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Well, in the aftermath of yesterday's tragic and deadly train derailment in DuPont, Washington, and before anyone knew the possible cause or causes, Donald Trump took to Twitter to immediately call for action on his often touted infrastructure plan, which is quite long on vagaries and endlessly short on substance. Rather than waiting for the same details or facts that he needed before condemning Nazis and white supremacists in Charlottesville, Virginia, Donald Trump grabbed his phone with his grubby little hands and tweeted, quote, "The train accident that just occurred in DuPont, Washington shows more than ever why our soon-to-be submitted infrastructure plan must be approved quickly. $7 trillion spent in the Middle East while our roads, bridges, tunnels, railways, and more crumble. Not for long!" Exclamation point, unquote. Then, 10 minutes later, as a literal afterthought, he tweeted about the dozens of victims saying, quote, "My thoughts and prayers are with everyone involved in the train accident in DuPont, Washington. Thank you to all our wonderful first responders who are on the scene. We are currently monitoring here at the White House," unquote. Well, it's clear we have a president who is devoid of compassion and empathy for others, so much so that his very first impulse was to calculate how these lost lives and serious injuries could help him in his perpetual quest for added political capital. And then, oh yeah, thoughts and prayers too, everybody. Sorry about your loss. Ugh. Well, first of all, let me say that we are definitely in need of an infrastructure improvement modernization program, an aggressive one. But before we let Donald Trump break his arms, patting himself on the back, let's remember that people like Bernie Sanders have for years been advancing the idea of a $1 trillion investment measure. But, good for Donald. I guess second place ain't so bad. What I really want to address here, though, is the immediate rush to politicize this tragedy. Number one, before anyone knows whether the cause of the crash was in fact due to a crumbling infrastructure. And number two, it is embarrassingly hypocritical when Donald Trump himself has said in so many words that it was inappropriate to talk about sensible gun legislation in the wake of the mass shootings in Las Vegas and recently in Texas. So which is it? Is it okay for Donald when it's a policy objective with which he agrees, but oh my God, way off limits when it has to do with guns? The way I see it, both are justified discussions that need to be had. Our infrastructure is in serious need of rapid rebuilding, and working through to a solution on gun violence and the massive senseless loss of life is a dire necessity of the highest order. Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out my channel and this video. If you like what I do here and you appreciate it, go ahead and click subscribe. And if you really like it and appreciate what I do and you'd like to join my Patreon family, there's another link there for that. It's not just for the podcast, it's also for YouTube. Thanks a lot.